Hey guys, what up? This is Patrick Hall with Fstoppers.com. I'm here with Reese Allen. He's what type of photographer would you consider yourself?
A little bit of everything, I guess.
Yeah. Reese is here from Charleston, South Carolina. I first met him in the wedding world, but I've seen your interiors. They're unbelievable.
Thanks.
And of course, you shoot a lot of like lifestyle and portraiture as well too.
Yeah. I did a lot of that before I moved here, like commercial photography, and then kind of wanted to slow down. So when I got here, I do a lot of weddings now.
Cool. So today we are doing a Critique the Community with your images. The theme today is lifestyle. And at the end of this, we're actually going to give away 2 backpacks from Hex.
Nice.
These are like $200 to $300 backpacks. So at the very end of this, one of the 20 pictures you're about to see, actually 2 of the 20 will win 2 bags that we're giving away. So stay tuned for that. We're going to go ahead and jump in here right away. So before we do this first image, I'm going to quickly explain the rating system. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, and then we throw down a number, 1 through 5. It's very simple. 1 is a snapshot, meaning your mom could have taken it. 2 is it needs work, but you can tell that there's been some thought. Maybe it's a lens selection or it's the composition. You can tell that it's a photographer trying to take a good picture. 3 is a solid image. It's not mind-blowing, but it probably should belong in your portfolio. So a 3 is the first image that would go on your website. A 4 is an image that is outstanding. It's great. This is a solid image. You should be very proud to take it. It's probably going to sit in the front of your portfolio forever. And then a 5 is a world-class image. It's a remarkable, unforgettable photograph. Maybe it has a celebrity in it. Maybe you've composited something that's just, it's so good that everybody's going to remember this for years. It's really the top of its class.
Has there been any 5s before?
We've given like 5 5s in the last 15 episodes.
Oh, okay.
So they're very rare.
All right.
But that's not to say if you think something is world-class, you shouldn't give it. Like we said, today is lifestyle photography. Do you have an opinion on what you consider lifestyle? It's kind of a broad genre that encapsulates other types of fields.
And it's a broad category too. I mean, you can an image that would go in a details magazine, for example, would be different than the AAA magazine, which both have lifestyle photographs in them. But yeah, I think there's a couple of things about lifestyle. One is you're probably not going to be looking at the camera too much. To me, that's more of a portrait. Yeah. But you could do it if it's a family camping or something like that, and one of the kids has a marshmallow, those kind of things. But
so typically we're talking about a person in an environment who is selling a brand or a feeling or
a mood,
yeah, like a lifestyle. So let's go ahead and just get started here. We have our first picture. This is kind of like a camping wilderness adventure type photo. Very popular in the genre.
Okay, I think I'm ready. This one's been up for a while, so it's not that we didn't analyze it, but...
All right, let's go. 3, 2, 1. What'd you go with?
Wow.
You went 2. Okay.
Wait, tell me again 2. Tell me
2
again 2.
is needs work, probably doesn't belong in your portfolio.
No, then I will go 3.
Okay,
that's my first time doing this. And
I will tell you, I was on the edge of 3 and 4. I kind of went a little nice on this one.
I can tell you why.
Yeah, give me your opinions on this.
I mean, it is a nice shot, and again, maybe with lifestyle, it's part of a story, but as a standalone image, to me, there's so many of these images out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think it's anything technically. The lighting, they got nice backlighting on the hair. It's a cool moment. Again, with part of a story, it might fit better, but to me, there's.
And that's what's tough with this genre is sometimes lifestyle works better in an editorial format.
Sure.
I look at this and I love the light. I love the way the light's hitting the front of her pants, like lighting up black pants and getting that highlight can be really difficult. I feel like her expression and her pose is very natural and confident for what she's doing. She's walking across this log over the water. I love the flare, if that's added in post or not. Like, I don't know, but it looks really good. The highlights.
Yeah, it looks like it's...
I love the composition in general. Normally I wouldn't put people in the middle of the frame, but I love the way the grass kind of frames everything. I don't know what this is really selling. A lot of times in the critiques, I go to like, what is this selling? I kind of go towards maybe like the shoes or something. Maybe it doesn't have to sell anything. Maybe this could just be an editorial image for some kind of outdoor magazine. But I could imagine it with text and everything. And I think a client that books photographers in this genre of outdoor lifestyle probably would feel like, oh, this is pretty good. Like the girl's casted well. It's an attractive girl.
Yeah, and I could see like a Timberland or some sort of company's logo down below. And again, I just think it's difficult because we are taking a piece of the story and trying to analyze it without context.
But you'll have that with every genre, if it's weddings or if it's products.
It's not just this.
So let's go to the next image here. So we're still back in the hiking adventure genre of lifestyle.
So this is one of the issues too, is wide versus tight.
Yeah.
You want to tell the story. As soon as you go wider, I can't talk about it until we do a.
You can
I don't want to influence your decision.
Okay. I think I know what I'm going to do here.
Wow. Okay, I think I know.
All right. 3, 2, 1. You went 3.
Yeah.
I go 2.
Yeah.
Tell me why you like this image. What's working for you?
I think it's got a little bit more mood maybe than, with the clouds approaching. I like the way that they use the mountains in the distance kind of as like part of the story in this particular image. The person, I guess we get that they're traveling into that environment, but it's an average image, I think. And again, it's part of a story that might fit better into a series of maybe 5 photographs. But
right.
No. Why did you give it a 2?
I feel like the thing that is lacking the most in this is I just feel like the composition's kind of weak. I feel like it's ultra wide in this vertical format, and you can tell they're in a very scenic place. I love everything you're saying, the backlight, the clouds, the mountains. I just feel like, to me, the bottom of this frame and the bushes, it's just not really that interesting. I see what they did. They put the horizon at the third, line down. So they kind of followed some rules of photography. I don't like that I can't really see the person. I love seeing expression and mood, and to me, this almost looks like I would have maybe liked the person hiking towards the camera or something else to give it more of a personal feeling. If I saw this from far away, maybe I wouldn't even quite know what's going on here.
And the bottom of the frame, I don't know that it adds to it.
Yeah, I think you're right. This could work really well in a series of pictures, but for it to be like the third picture on your website, I think, in my opinion, the last image was stronger for me. I know you gave both of these 3s, so they're probably on the same level. I just feel like you could do a little bit more work. You could probably tighten up the zoom. Like if this is at, I don't know what this is at. Let's say this is at like 12 or 14 millimeters. Go to 24, get rid of some of the foreground, cut off some of the sky. Maybe you just hike down a little bit more and get some of these mountains on the left look really interesting. Maybe there's just a better location in this general area that would make the landscape look better, and then work with the person to make them more part of the foreground or the main interest. I feel like they're just kind of like leaving their camping site, and they're so small in the frame. So,
and it doesn't really. Yeah, there's always things you can do better about it, but as an image that's in your first 15 or 20 on your website, I don't think it's going to get you a ton of work, or no one's going to share that image on Pinterest, I don't think, or
that's another good
ad
one.
director.
Like, do people find it interesting enough who aren't even involved in photography to like share it? And I think that's what's great about lifestyle photography is like it gives you this emotion where you just want to pin it or share it, get it, reference it later. It makes such an impact on you. So
is an art director going to send that to someone and say, this is the photography we want to use because, look at these images? And I don't think so.
So let's move on to the next one. So now we've gone to like stand-up paddleboarding, which is actually pretty popular here in Charleston.
Yeah.
I don't know where this is. This looks like Florida or California. Looks pretty tropical with the high palms and everything in the background.
This one doesn't really, I think, fit lifestyle, but it's more like
this might
product,
be more
catalog,
like catalog lifestyle, but
it is advertising
and the fact that it's not just
brand.
A beautiful girl portrait, this has clearly been done for some kind of lifestyle brand. So I would still kind of rate it in there. So I think I'm ready. You know what you're gonna give this?
I think so, yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Three?
Yeah,
Three?
another 3.
What do you like about this?
I mean, the image is executed flawlessly. I like everything about this image as far as a portfolio shot. The lighting's perfect. Her pose is perfect. It would go in a catalog or a brochure for, Xterra paddleboards.
Yeah.
It's a great image. I mean,
I think for me,
4 would be something that's remarkable or something.
I think because this is more of a catalog style image, it kind of keeps it from going that next level.
Sure, yeah.
If she was in the waves and like paddling through, I know you don't use this in big waves,
Right.
but if you had some kind of action shot and you put the dog on there, you
Wide
do something
angle,
more,
yeah.
you could make this a 4, possibly even a 5. So I think because it's kind of this straight on shot, it kind of prevents it from being this unbelievable image.
Mm-hmm.
But for what it is, I mean, shooting a
great.
board that big and making it interesting, I mean, I could imagine if I approached this, it would be kind of nerve-wracking to shoot a board that's, like 8 or 9 feet tall.
And, the other thing is, I mean, look, it's full sun. It appears to be a full sun day. You can look down at the bottom and see that it doesn't look like they've scrimmed anything. So the lighting on here, it's very hard to accomplish. I mean, they did a great job with the lighting.
Yeah.
You can see the hair light coming through the back with the shadows down below.
And I mean, I
great,
don't know that they
phenomenal lighting job.
They could have even composited some of the details on the board if it wasn't perfect. But yeah, very, very well executed. If you're working with a lifestyle company or a brand, and they need these pictures as well.
Sure.
Besides just the action shots, like they're going to look at this and say, like, "Wow, that's like really good." I think the model's chosen well. She's not so drop dead gorgeous that it seems kind of fake and contrived. Yeah. But she's not unattractive either. So she's this perfect kind of athletic, beautiful girl. Yeah. I think you cast the model very well.
And the way she's styled with the clothes, everything's perfect about that shot. I feel like as a 3, it goes in your portfolio. It's not something that you put number 1 in your book or anything. But,
All right. So now we've removed all of the adventure action sports, and we've gone to just kind of maybe like an editorial. I don't know if this is really selling anything specifically, but
I'm ready.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1. All right. 2 and 2.
I mean, first, right off the bat is the no smoking sign.
Okay.
Like, I can't even look at the image after seeing that. I'm like, wow. What?
And the American flag, it's like, is it saying something politically?
Yeah. I mean, it's the lighting's nice. It's nice, flat, even lighting that makes her look attractive and things like that. But I mean, this composition is just way too much going on with the sign down below.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the girl's great. The lighting is probably the best thing working for this image. The lighting on her looks just natural, but it's really pretty.
Yeah.
I feel like I would like to have her talking with somebody else, or maybe she's on the phone. I don't like that the phone's just there and she's staring at the camera. It kind of has this like...
So if you look at it like, what is it selling? I have no idea. Like, it's not...
And
it's not an apartment complex. It's not
selling the coffee.
A restaurant. It's not
selling the self-service.
Is that important? Now, as a portrait for someone, maybe.
But even
different.
as a portrait, I feel like it's a little weird.
Yeah.
Like, would you frame this?
No, no one would put that in there.
Yeah,
so I mean,
feel like
what is this image? What is it?
I totally agree. I feel like her smile is a little fake, to where it looks like the photographer saying, "Look at the camera and smile."
Yeah.
Whereas if she was looking down at her hands and laughing, maybe that would make the emotion stronger. I agree. The background's just really cluttered.
And this goes back to what I was saying about lifestyle. To me, 80% of those pictures, you're not going to be looking at the camera. It's about a lifestyle that you're supposed to, as a photographer, insert yourself into a situation to capture what it's like to paddleboard or be at this cafe. Or now the other thing that I think this reminds me of is an editorial shot of, this girl opened up a bakery.
The business owner.
Right, it's the business owner
portrait.
shot. Yeah.
I mean, you still would probably want to like remove some of the signs. You'd probably want to give a bigger hint of what the store is.
Yeah, exactly.
You have no idea, like, is she selling baskets or bread or flowers or...
Yeah, if you look down here, this sign seems to be covering up, I don't know, some sort of flower, something in the window.
Spa
or
program, like maybe it's a spa. I don't know. Let's move on here.
Okay.
This is the first image. 2 people in it. So we've added 2 or 3 people to this photo. And there's a guy here with his, I see his face now.
Mm-hmm.
This reminds me of like a camp ad or something.
Okay.
You ready? All right, 3, 2, 1, 3.
I gave it a 4.
You give it a 4?
I think it's a great image. I think that her expression's awesome. I don't think it looks too fake. I think she's having fun. I think, the way that the composition is, when you said there was more than one person, to me, these aren't really, they're elements of the photograph, but...
Right, they're still to give a mood or
it just,
story. Or...
I didn't really pay much attention to the left side of the frame, the way it's composed, because I was drawn right to her.
Yeah.
And then when I was drawn to her, it gave me a feeling of she's having fun. I think it's a warm image. I think it conveys it right away.
Yeah.
Like you can look at that image and immediately I'm kind of transported into this place, and it just viscerally I just like it.
I would love, sometimes we do this with the iPad and we can actually zoom in and crop. I might want to crop in just a little tighter. Mm-hmm. And maybe you crop in at some point, you start cutting her off in her hands, and like maybe you actually need to compose it a little more to...
Or maybe there's something on the right that's more interesting.
Yeah, the one thing that I feel like, as a 3, I still think this could belong in your portfolio. The thing that I see about this, and maybe it could be our monitors, it could be the way that we downloaded the file, I just feel like it could have a little more processing to it. I feel like you could make the blacks a little darker, maybe not across the whole image, but like maybe on her, some of this in the background, you could maybe bump the colors a little. I know that's a very personal taste. People might like this desaturated, very airy look. I feel like I would like to see this process I'm talking the 5 or 10% more of just a little pop to it.
See, I like, if you look at the blacks around her eyes and stuff, I think it's great. I think sometimes the other thing is that, especially with Photoshop, I'm a film shooter.
Yeah.
One of the problems I see, with some images is they're too perfect. Like they're not, I guess with film, it used to be an accident that you kind of, you could look at those happy accidents, lens flares or something like that, and you didn't have the ability to go in and make it so perfect, which maybe that's the standard nowadays. I don't know.
I think it kind of is. You can go to the sports shooters and say like the Sports Illustrated covers of the 80s and 90s were soft and out of focus, but they were still timeless, great images.
Yeah.
But now, if it's not perfectly sharp, it gets deleted, and I think there's something to be lost there. But at the same time, these cameras and technology are so great that should we not be utilizing it to the full potential? That might be a whole other conversation, but...
I guess with me, my sensibility is that, the fact that we just have part of a forearm, it didn't bother me when I saw that image initially. So, watch, we're going to give it like completely different.
I think I know. I know what I'm going to give this.
Okay. Ready?
All right, 3, 2, 1.
I gave it a 1.
You gave it a 1?
Yeah.
I don't think I can give it a 1, and I don't think you can give it a 1, because I believe that the photographer was thinking here. I think the sky looks totally photoshopped in. The composition was thought out. It looks a little, I could put it on the border of that. I just think enough creative decisions have been chosen to where...
So you're saying
this doesn't look as bad as just
a person
I picked out
with
a phone
iPhone,
and just...
Yeah.
It does have the wide angle of the iPhone, but the depth of field and like the sky and the editing of the rock, I just think this is beyond a snapshot, but I definitely think it doesn't belong in your portfolio. What do you not like about this image?
I just feel like there's nothing, it's almost better without the girl in it, which is what you're saying, is that some decisions have been made. But once you get to this kind of a location to do that, to me, it looks kind of like anybody could snap that.
I'm almost wondering...
Is it completely fake? Or?
Yeah, like the way I see the light coming down on her jacket, and then you would imagine the light setting to the left here, and the way all the shadows are on her knees and legs, it almost looks so...
Composited, yeah.
Sharp that it could be composited.
How do you get this water bottle with light on it.
I mean, you can now dodge and burn into oblivion, or you could have lit it in some way. I don't know. I think this is shot too wide and too close to the girl. I think you need to step back at least like 5 to 10 feet and really show the landscape. I think she needs more light on her, especially like her legs. And again, what are you selling here? You're selling adventure. You're selling an emotion, but she's not looking at the camera. I just view this and say, like, the photographer's thinking, but this wasn't like a planned out photo shoot. Maybe this is his wife and he's traveling and he's like, oh, I got this great shot of, or what he thought was a great shot of the landscape, and I got my wife or my girlfriend who's kind of dressed appropriately, and I'm trying to do this genre. I just don't think it's
something while I'm there. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think this is like a thought out photo shoot where all of the elements are coming together. But I definitely think they're thinking towards that direction. But this image just doesn't do anything for me. In fact, I think this is...
And then, they may very well have the next 3 images might be much better,
Right.
You are in this amazing location.
We always debate that too, but you have to just say the image that they put forward, like the way her legs are cut off.
But that's one of the things, though, that to me is choosing the right image is 50% of the battle. I mean, we can... and cropping it, or the thing that you do or the choice that you make afterwards is just as important as all of these decisions about where to go. So.
All right, so let's move to the next. This is kind of like fitness. All right, I think I'm.
Okay.
All right, you ready? 3, 2, 1.
I gave it a 4.
A 4.
Obviously the lighting's great. At least I think it is. I can see this as some sort of, in a men's fitness magazine, for the gym products or whatever. Maybe you'd want to go wider a little bit, but I like the blueness of it too.
Yeah.
I find that like you don't see a lot of blue images anymore. It's always warm colors, and so to have an image that is blue, in my opinion, is unusual nowadays, and also I think it's executed really well.
What I don't like about this image, it's kind of 2 things.
You gave it a 2, right? So
I gave it a 2. I could see this going in your portfolio kind of when you're getting started, but I don't like the angle of the camera, maybe is the right word, or if it is this angle, I don't like the ceiling. I just see the ceiling tiles. I think it makes it look cheap. I feel like the model is ripped and in good shape, but he's an older model. I don't know. This guy could be 35, 45, like somewhere in that range. I just feel like maybe he's not the perfect model for the lifestyle, but maybe this brand is all about home fitness or something. I don't know. But to me, it's like I don't like the way the light's coming over his neck and then casting a shadow on his jawline. I would have preferred to see like the light kind of cutting into his face more.
So bring the light around a little bit more. Yeah, there's things you could do.
It's like a bunch of little stuff. Like the color, I could go either way. Like I like that it's blue, but to me, it's just I'm really distracted by all this stuff in the background. There's a lot in the back there. Like I almost want to just see just the equipment. I was just looking at images the other day like this, and they had done a very good job of really killing the ambient and lighting the gear. And it was much more of an advertisement than a lifestyle. But this image, it's like it's also not showing the brand of the gear, of the equipment, which depending on its use may not be important.
Again, it could be the editorial about the guy and his workout routine, or something like that. I still think that could be an image that could be in your portfolio for a while, depending on what it is. I could also see this photographer doing medical type stuff, operating room type photography. And I don't know, I like that there's no hair light and it's not like perfect, it kind of, I just like the image. I
feel like also I'd like to see some sweat or something. It just kind of feels like this guy's just in there. I don't know. This image just doesn't speak to me that well. I think you could take a few little extra steps.
When you see the image, though, does it convey to you right away, like, okay, workout, like when you first saw it?
When I first saw the image, I really felt like this is still kind of a photographer experimenting with light, and he's working on the lighting, and the location and the camera angle, or even the retouching, like it's just the model, like his chest down looks awesome. I'm not really sold on the model's face, and again, that's kind of arbitrary, but I feel like if you're selling a mood and a lifestyle, the model is like, that's such an important decision. I don't love all the stuff in the background. Like, I know what this is, it's a treadmill, but the way it's framed, I keep wanting to say like it's DJ gear or something. Like, it just looks like this could be cleaned up a little bit better. You could maybe close that cabinet door or something. Maybe you clone out the TV and you make it like...
I'd like to see what's
clean.
lower, like if it's, maybe extend it down a little bit more, but then you'd have to do a full body shot. But I like it just the way it is. I think it's something that would go in this portfolio.
That's our biggest disagreement on an image, so we'll see. I think I have my decision made. I've done enough of these to where I can just look at an image quickly and like give it a rating, but I don't want to be unfair to the viewers and not have some thoughts on the picture too, so.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, 3.
Yeah.
I went 2. I will tell you what I don't like about this image, and that is I feel like the photographer's working towards an image, like they have an idea. They've got the girls and they have the theme. I don't like the way that the girl in the back is kind of sitting on top of the girl in the front in a way that it just kind of reads a little weird when you look at it. I feel like the girl in the front, it's such a minor thing, but it's like she's in the full laughing position. A split second before, after, I feel like would have the same energy, but not... It's almost like she's doing the laugh that she might be a little embarrassed that was captured on camera. Like it's like the biggest moment of the laugh.
Okay.
I feel like you'd want to tone it down just a little bit.
Right. You're getting all that from the...
Yeah, like it just reads kind of weird to me. The crop seems a little strange. This is very popular on Instagram with like the blown out creamy whites, but in this case I just feel like it just looks really grainy and film-like, and maybe you love it for those reasons, but to me this just doesn't this doesn't make the cut for me. Yeah. For beach lifestyle.
I gave it a 3 because I think it's a fun image. I like the fact that the glasses are in focus. I mean, I'm assuming that's sort of what they're going for, right?
I would hope.
And then everything else goes soft. It's like a 1.4 lens or something. And, maybe this is just a moment where, she got a text message and she went and sat on the girl and she was sort of in, I don't read into it all those things about, the way to laugh and the crescendo of the laugh, but I just think it's a fun image. You could do a ton with this. You could make it warmer. Do you like that it's
shot in like the middle of the day? Like this is pretty harsh lighting.
I like the image. I think, I could see it in any lifestyle magazine, at a bank. I mean, this image, it also transcends a bunch of places that the image could go.
It does, and that is an advantage that it has. As I keep saying, oh, what does it represent brand-wise? And I don't want you to feel like every image has to represent a brand.
Yeah, it could be at the grocery store.
It could just represent a feeling.
That's it.
And that's what this does pretty well. I just feel like if you were to sit there in this position and take 50 or 100 pictures.
I mean, if it's not selling the glasses, then it's really not selling anything other than a mood. I feel like, though, if it was the glasses, it kind of drives me crazy that I can see through the glasses on this right side, the right frame. I feel like her eyes are really dark. I just feel like if this was for a glasses ad, the glasses would need a little retouching. It would need to be a little like the two lenses should look very similar, or they should make it really pop, or I don't know. I just feel like the glasses aren't represented in the best light. My eyes don't go straight to the glasses and think like this is a glasses ad. Mine did. I feel like that's where my eyes went.
They go there because it's the sharpest part of the image.
Could be.
I can say that. My eyes do go to the glasses. I guess what I'm trying to articulate is I don't feel like the glasses are so flawless that when you see these ads in the optometrist office or you go to Sunglass Hut and you see the same image, it's like, no doubt, I want to be that girl with those glasses on. I don't get that vibe from this picture. And then when there's a second pair of glasses in the background, it's also kind of like they don't really bring that much attention to me. I think there's a good energy here. I just think a scrim and like a little less expression. Like I'm talking a millisecond before. Maybe get the other girl involved a little more. I just think you can pull something a little bit better out of this than what's here. But
see, my opinion is that like when you scrim and you hair light, and now you want to differ. You know, you want different kinds of images. You know, so to me, I don't know. I like that image. I gave it a 3. You know, probably.
All right, we choose to disagree a little. So here we have a lifestyle in the home. I find this kind of interesting. Very different than what we've seen before. Different type of lifestyle. So I think I know what I'm ready to give it. Do you have a solid number? In between numbers?
I got an in between number.
Okay, let's see if we average out here. So 3, 2, 1.
3.
I went 3, 3. What was your other number you were thinking?
4.
I was kind of in the same boat. I love the candidness of this. I love the perspective of this. I love the lighting of this. There's something about the bottom of the frame that it feels just off a little bit. I don't know if it's these lines not being perfectly straight or it's because you have the floor up here and the ground there. I feel like something, maybe the camera could come over the couple like a foot or two just to be down a little more. There's something perspectively that just throws me off just a little.
Yeah, like maybe, you know, we need to see a little bit more, you know, down at the bottom level here.
It's almost like I just want to take the camera and just push the top part of the lens that's by the door
a little
down
bit more.
Just a touch. All in all, I feel like that's pretty minor. I love the kid looking up at the camera and the Legos and the newborn and the family. Like, I don't know what this is selling necessarily, but like this just looks like a beautiful picture that could be used for so many applications. This could be for IKEA.
The Legos
This
are
could
cool.
be for Legos. This could be for, it probably wouldn't be a Legos ad, but like, you know, it's just a solid, cool image that grabs your attention. And everyone looks so pleasant in it, you know?
The one thing, though, I'm wondering is if the kid on the horse, if he wasn't looking, he would go right to this other little kid. I think it might be a stronger image where, you know, the kid who isn't really aware of, you know, he's a young toddler. You know, maybe if this kid was just rocking back and forth on the horse having fun. But I agree, you know, it looks like the angles kind of, you know, need to get pulled back in a little bit more.
And I see now that I look at it closer, I can see the rail at the bottom. So you can actually see where they're overhanging. I think I would like to push the camera out a little bit more. If you can't, maybe like this little bar in the bottom right corner, maybe like Photoshop that out. I keep trying to figure out, do I want to take this whole table out with all the books and just get it out and leave the only messy element to this entire picture is the Legos? I keep going up to this left corner with the coloring books, and everything in this image is so clean and white and monochromatic in a way.
It's well thought out, yeah.
That I almost think if you could have just pulled that table out and put it out of the frame, maybe it would just make it just the slightest bit sharper. Again, these are very minute things. Like, I think this image is really, really cool.
So what did I say, 4 or 3?
I think we both gave it a 3, but you were leaning towards, I think a 3.5 is probably where this belongs, but I think it's really cool. I think if you have a bunch of images like this, it's just so unique that it's refreshing, at least for me when I see this.
And a great perspective, you know, obviously getting above a family, but I really like the little kid too.
Yeah, and the lighting's great. I mean, just soft, big light from the window, and everyone's lit really well. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, next image. Let's pick up the pace here. We don't
want to
put
bore
our
everybody.
audience
Okay,
to sleep.
I'm ready for this.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
3.
3.
Great image, you know, great engagement, or I'm sorry, family portrait on the beach, getting the birds there. It's, you know, it's a great image for these people. Great in your portfolio, but I've seen
There's
it.
something, we've seen it because we live at the beach.
Yeah, okay.
I love it. I think it's a great image. Solid 3. The things that do bother me a little bit is I feel like the mom's body position is a little awkward. This is the sort of situation where maybe you had 4 frames to get this. Maybe some of these birds are photoshopped in. I don't know. But I look at the family and the mom seems off a little bit. But that's still a very minor detail. If this was used for like a resort to represent like take the family on vacation, I think it's a cool image. Is there any part of you that thinks that like there may be too many birds in this picture? Are you turned off a little by like you're being in the Birds movie by Hitchcock? You're about to be attacked or something.
Yeah, but I mean, I think I know how this happened. You take a loaf of bread out with you and you throw them out and the birds come.
Yeah.
You know, so you can see them all flying in for a reason, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, having those 3 birds, you know, off in the corner is difficult because, you know, they all come. So
Yeah.
but it's a nice image. You know, it's just
Definitely gives you the beach lifestyle feel, which we're very accustomed to here in Charleston.
ooh,
This image, the way that it's shot, it has such an intimacy to it.
That's
It
great.
almost looks like street photography.
it's great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready if you are.
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1,
Yeah,
4.
I mean, everything about this image is awesome. I like they're in the center. I mean, it draws me in. The colors are phenomenal. The blue just pops off of that. You know, if you take them out, it's compositionally kind of cool. It looks like a Gursky type thing, a piece of fine art. You put them in. You know, I also look at images too, like, you know, what can I take out to the point where it's perfect? And, you know, or could I add something in? And a lot of times you end up adding more things, lights or something like that. This image, just her position on the bike.
Yeah. It's like too
It's
good
great.
to be true. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
want to think that it's
perfectly
like
done.
it's a candid, but then when I look at the way everything's falling into place, I think like, man, there's just you would be the best street photographer with the best
Yeah,
subject
to
matter
capture
ever
that.
to get that.
But
So I feel like it's posed and it's like it's planned out, but you're right. Like I love it
Doesn't
for all
matter.
the same reasons you said. The lens choice here, like it's just got this cool compression and there's really no. I think the brightest whites are in the waves in the background. So like there's just so much range and it's a really great image.
Now, you know, I'm always a cropper. Could I crop left? Could I crop right? You know, you have one issue. There's only one issue with this image. I mean, I'd love to have that in my portfolio, but
Yeah.
if it's a center of a magazine, you know, where are they going to put the text or whatever? So, you know, it can be, you know, it only can be a horizontal.
Yeah, or you shoot if you
brochure,
do
you
this
know,
and
yeah.
you're in control of the photo shoot. You shoot 5 varieties of
Yeah,
this,
but what a great job.
awesome image.
You know?
All right, move on. I've seen this image before, so this has been on the Fstoppers community. I don't want to persuade your rating, but this is I think been given like maybe like a photo of the day or something. I'm trying to think how I've seen this.
It's a great photo.
And I think this photographer, I can't read the name, it's so small. I think this person has 4 or 5 varieties of this type of image that I've seen.
It's a great shot. I'm ready.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
I mean, I'm basically not going to give a 5-star. I can't imagine what a 5-star image would be.
Yeah.
Now, you know,
Let's rate it before
Okay,
we.
all right.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
I gave it a
All
4.
right.
Yeah.
I could see this going in the 5 range just because of the subject matter. You don't see many pictures of girls with dolphins shot
Not like
through
that, no.
Right. So like if this is, we did the workshop in the Bahamas for 2 years. I see a lot of photography like this. This is actually probably better than what they have
That's a great
down
shot.
at Atlantis. I could see this being very close to a 5.
You know, is it the sky? It doesn't matter. It's
I love
photoshopped
the sky.
in.
Yeah, this is totally a photoshopped
Composited
image.
image,
But
yeah.
I love everything about this. This whole series. I can think of another image that's wide, and I think she's playing with the dolphin, like in the middle of the frame. Very cool, very different take on lifestyle. I mean,
that's a great photo. Is it a 5? It's close. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, in my opinion. Is it a lifestyle shot? I mean, not really. I don't know that I'd call that a lifestyle photograph.
I mean,
To me, that's a highly polished. I don't know. I mean, I know lifestyle's a broad category.
right? It's
but
like a commercial image used probably to book tours to see the dolphins.
yeah, and I would expect to see that on a Royal Caribbean ad or something.
It's not like you walked off the beach of your house and
No.
you were in that situation. But it's still, I think it still has the emotion. It's got the outdoor atmosphere. It's like the model not looking at the camera for a portrait. I think it's probably fair to kind of put this in the lifestyle category.
Okay.
Great image.
So as this one compared to the other one, even though they're like completely different images.
The one before it.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like the category's so broad.
Yeah, and that's the difficult thing. We did weddings one time, and everyone sent us. It was 100% posed wedding photos. Not one reception, not one candid, not one detail shot.
You got everybody.
So we had to do a wedding one that was like
be
wedding
nice
non-posed
about
images. You know, like candid weddings. So like this is a completely different take.
Yeah, it's totally different. Yeah.
On like lifestyle. This is like as posed as you could get, and probably composited in some way. I always see these images and have a hard time believing that you got all the right reaction of everybody.
Yeah.
In one frame, but
yeah. Well, the hair light here.
Yeah.
No hair light there. No hair light on him.
But that sort of thing is very big. I mean, that's what commercial photography is at this point. So, yeah. 3, 2, 1.
3. Yeah. Great for your portfolio. It shows you have some depth and some latitude in the things that you can do. It's important to show you can work with families. It's a cool image. I mean, it really, it's a little Norman Rockwell-ish.
Yeah.
Which is hard to do. If she's crying, the baby's disinterested. When I looked at it first, I thought, it's a great Norman Rockwell, representation. So.
What would you do to make this better? Like, is there anything you can see that you're like, if this was changed, this would be a little more acceptable in the commercial world. This would be a little bit better for a magazine, for an advertisement.
Are you going to talk about colors and stuff again?
No, I actually love the color on this.
Yeah, it's got that yellow.
I look at this picture, and gosh, it's like a gut feeling, and I'm probably wrong, but I feel like the photographer could be the dad. And this was some kind of like shot that he put and he built. And in that case, this is incredible. Taking a picture where you're in it and getting these results is incredible. And I could be completely wrong. This may be a family that was hired by a photographer for whatever reason. But I feel like I would like to see, I don't know, I just feel like to make this like a 4 or 5, it's the subject matter in the pictures. And this is a real family. I don't want to undermine that. I'm not trying to like pick on anybody in the picture. But I just feel like,
so you went right away to, this is like somebody doing a holiday card, or it looks like he's.
Yeah, like if.
No, I was trying to see if he had a.
All I'm trying to say is like the whole family as a whole may not be the family that would be cast if you were to shoot for a certain publication or company. Okay. That this is exactly who they brought in.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that that's right or wrong for this style genre or for this photography. I'm just saying to get to that next level, what would you have to do? I feel like the casting would be just a little bit different,
Okay.
But because of that, it's also like on the other side of that, that's why this works so well. It's because this feels like your everyday family.
That's a nice shot.
No, I love the color.
Again,
the
with other
really
things
cool.
in a portfolio.
What is going on with her thumb? Is that like a climbing technique that you have? Is her thumb like bruised, or is that common with? She's got some application on or something? I don't know. I'm ready. 3, 2, 1.
I'm all about like different angles. For some reason, and this could be great, and this just might be my thing, that I'm not a climber, so images don't, I guess, have an effect on me as much, but I don't like the color. I just can't look at that image. It's just cropped way too weird for me, and that I like that stuff most of the time.
The shallow depth of field and the huge, crack in the front of the top of the frame, like.
Yeah.
I just want to get rid of it.
Move it to the side or something.
I feel like the lighting's kind of bad. The color, like you said, it's got this cool magenta look that doesn't really work here, I don't think. I think you'd be better off making this even warmer or introducing some kind of side light, which I could understand would be so difficult in this situation. But we've actually had several Fstoppers writers who do climbing photography, and there is some incredible stuff out there.
Yeah.
And I just look at this and say, like, you're trying. I definitely have to give it to you for that. You're getting out there, and you probably enjoy climbing. This may even be your girlfriend or your wife, and this was something you guys did together. I just think for it to get to that level of really being polished, it needs a better crop. It needs maybe...
And that's something you have to think about, too, that you just mentioned, is you're competing against everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have a great perspective on things. You know, especially lifestyle climbing. I can't imagine what it would take to get an image that would wow an art director now.
Yeah.
Like they're almost dangerous, you know, which is
Yeah, and
you know.
many times they're shot from the side to show the landscape because that's such a big part of the emotion. Here, you can't really tell where they are. You can't tell how high she is. There's nothing about this that makes it seem dangerous or difficult or beautiful or, you know, I just feel like the landscape nature of it's kind of a little weaker.
But I like the fact they're trying a different crop, you know, a different angle.
Yeah. So now we've gone back to like the outdoor cafe.
Okay.
But I think you would agree that they've pulled this off a little bit better than the girl
Yeah,
with the phone.
yeah.
No smoking signs.
I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1, 3.
Whoa!
I give this a 4. I think this is pretty. This feels very timeless to me. This feels like I love the font in the background. I love the color. I love the model choice. I love the way the girl looks. The guy, now that I look at it a little bit closer, he looks a little. He looks like he's kind of done with the photo shoot a little bit. Like, okay, I've done this like 10 times. I'm a little tired of this, but I love that it's just them having coffee and they're feeling intimate and there's no distractions in terms of like signs or any of the things that were problematic previously. A little light in the window, you could probably clone that out, but I just feel like my eye goes straight to them and I feel like, man, this is a really timeless, pretty image that, you know, if there was lighting done to this, I don't know that there was, but nothing pulls me out and the photographer in me says, oh man, like the kicker's a little hot. Like this just looks really, really pretty.
I mean, I do think the things I like about the image are, I like the styling. Her hat, I think, goes well. This couple looks like they could be together. It's just not that exciting. I mean, maybe that's part of, you know, it's executed well.
I feel like he might be a little, I don't want to say underdressed, but maybe his styling could have been brought up just a little.
Okay.
He kind of has like the long sleeve t-shirt that I might do in the winter or something, and then she's got a lot more style than him. So I feel like that might be a critique I would make
I'm wondering,
now.
like, you know, in here maybe.
Some of the wrinkles straighten.
Yeah, it's a nice image for your portfolio, but I think, you know, as far as trying to define yourself as a photographer, you know, I don't know that image would. No one would look at that image and go, "That's a Patrick Hall," or you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's nothing defining about that photograph.
I can see that.
Yeah.
And I could probably be persuaded to go to the 3.5, but I just saw
No,
this
that's
and was
fine.
like, this is really a nice image. I mean, I'm ready. 3, 2, 1.
3.
3, 2. I think this needs work in the sense that, like, if you remove this up here in the right-hand corner, it actually might be more interesting. It's like a little more abstract. To me, this just looks like,
I was thinking like that.
like cut it
Making
vertically or something.
yeah. Yeah, you can work with cropping on this image all day long.
It's just,
I like it. I like the fact that she's in the space. I like negative space, especially when it's, you know, when it works. And I think the angle with the blue, this is a choice of someone making an effort to go to this place, take a photograph, and choosing compositionally to use that wide angle lens. But again, the choice of all the images and what you do with it afterward. If this is the full frame, then you don't need to use that full frame. You can do things to it to make it.
I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to get the change in the water color.
Yeah.
If that's a natural thing. I mean, now you could just brush in a different color and get that same effect.
Okay.
I just don't look at this as like the photographer made an intentional decision to go to this location and get that photograph. I look at it more
Really?
like he is there on vacation and there's this girl sitting alone and he snapped it. Or he told his girlfriend to go down there, or whatever. Like, it just, to me, you could do little things that would make this, like, I look at this and say there's so many possibilities. You could put a little stand down there with some cocktails, or you could put a beautiful blanket or beach towel that would, like, make you wonder, like, a little quirkiness, you know? To me, this just kind of, it's a little boring.
But you have the water that's receding back into the, which I think adds an element to it too.
It does. I almost would like to see maybe the sand burned in, or like the bottom of this where it's drier or the water's already receded. I'd like to see a little more definition. It looks kind of like really noisy and high ISO, which could be the effect. Maybe it's shot on film. Maybe you like that.
What do
To
you mean,
me,
like, high ISO means it's film or something?
no, it looks like a mistake to me. This doesn't look like the perfect crisp Bahama Beach photo that it could be, and I kind of want to see it that way. This looks a little bit more like a snapshot.
Yeah, and I don't understand why they keep that in, in
the kind of dead coral
to show that,
I almost think you get rid of that,
Yeah.
and it makes it like more interesting.
Yeah.
It's like, where is this girl? Because the water is so clear, and it's not your typical beach.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, if you could burn in the sand a little or make it a little more yellow down here, you would have like these 3 layers.
What about use the horizon more, maybe, to put her in context of where she,
Yeah, maybe.
Because other than that, you don't know where she is if you get rid of this thing on the right.
This is just going for me a little more towards maybe like fine art than it is editorial lifestyle. Makes me want to be there, If I want to be there, I would want like a guy in there with her sharing the experience, or like a cocktail, or something else that just makes you think like, man, I wish I was her. She almost looks like lonely and like. I read a lot from it, but I get an energy.
I don't get any of that.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one. I think I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Great image.
4. Yeah, this is a really cool photo.
I mean, is it composite? Who cares? It doesn't look or feel that way at all. I mean, at 5, I don't know what an image would get a 5, but this is about as good as it gets. Maybe he could be a little more warm. That's a phenomenal picture.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, I'm trying to, and we've said this before in our critiques, that going into 5 category in some genres is very difficult. Like, imagine headshots.
How do you get
You look at like Martin Scholar's images and you're like, oh, that's Jimmy Fallon doing some quirky thing, and it's like perfectly executed, it's a 5.
Yeah.
But it could be a 4 even in Martin Scholar's portfolio. So same thing with weddings. Like, what a 5 wedding photo is like so freaking hard to kind of give it that
What would
weight.
that even be? Yeah.
Right. And so I think this genre, lifestyle, has that. I don't want to say it's a barrier, but it definitely makes it kind of difficult.
5 is unforgettable?
I mean, if every picture looks like that in his portfolio, this is a 5-star photographer.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's what it is as you start to build up, that's a great.
I'm having a hard time even critiquing this. Like, part of me maybe this ruins it.
Is he on this? No, nothing. That's the same.
I kind of want to see the same warmth on him on the building, but maybe that would not make it better. I don't know. I think
that image is great. Yeah.
I'm splitting hairs at that point, trying to do anything. The sky being perfectly clear, I think, makes it better than if it had a bunch of clouds in it.
And you remember what I said about, like, you don't see a lot of blue images. At least I see more warm. It's easier to do a warm image well, but the way that it's separate. I mean, this is, like you said, I can't even critique this. This is probably somebody that's famous or something, because that's a great photo.
How is that for a critique?
Yeah. But there again, if I look at the bicycle image, to me, when I look at the lifestyle category, like, this is cool. It's perfect. I mean, this shot's perfect, but the bicycle image in its simplicity to me is almost more memorable, and so far for me, so. Yeah.
I was in New York recently, and I went out to Bethesda Park, and I saw the guy setting up, and he had the 2 buckets that he spent like 5 or 10 minutes getting prepped. And then this kid comes up and just kicks like the 1 bucket he has and spills all of it. And I just thought, like, oh my gosh, like. So every time I see these bubble guys now, that's what I think about.
I've never seen them, so they do a whole.
Oh man, these guys, they roll out their cart and they set it up and then they make these huge bubbles. But anyway, I think I'm ready. 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
4.
Yeah.
Whoa, this is.
Wait, tell me at 4 now again.
4 is like, this belongs in your portfolio. This is a near perfect image. It's not quite the 5, but
I love that image. I love everything about that image. I think it's but you put it on a high-speed sync or high-speed motor, but the image, the way it's presented to me, is perfect. Her expression's perfect. She's anticipating. Her shoulders are up. The guy's great. It doesn't get much better than that for, I don't know what it's advertising or what, is it, as far as the lifestyle genre, I mean, I don't know what lifestyle it is. Travel?
So this falls into another situation like we were just talking about, where if this photographer had 100 pictures with this same lighting and this same mood and color and this kind of street photography feel, he could be a world-class photographer.
Yeah. And
But
could
this
get
image,
work just doing that, is what
but
you're
he's
saying.
kind of made his name and he's made his own
Right.
genre and he's kind of broken the rules and he's like, I'm doing this, To me, in the commercial world or for your website, like, no doubt a mom or a family member would love this
Yeah.
picture. I just feel like it's a little too strange to... I'm just
You
trying
know
to
what,
think, like, if I would see this on, like, a billboard in New York, or would I flip through a magazine and see this for some company? It's, like, a very pretty and well-executed photograph, but to me, it's still just, like... It's like street photography, snapshot. Like, I'm glad I got this picture of my daughter. She'll remember this the rest of her life. But in terms of it just being this image that goes on your website,
What about like
I have a hard time
down
seeing
below here, New York state of mind or something like that? It's advertising New York City. That's one of the things you can do in New York City. But I agree with what you're saying in that the one thing that made me go between the 3 and a 4 is it's well lit. If you put your camera on, auto mode, you'd probably get close to that from the image. So you put it on high-speed sync auto mode and go do.
Yeah.
One of these is going to come out, and you do a little Photoshop work. So is it anything that
I guess just
someone
when I
else
think
can't
about
do?
lifestyle, I keep looking at this and putting this in like a street photography category.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's fair. It could be lifestyle too. I don't want to like make it to where it has to fit this one genre by itself. But I just imagine if you had a picture of a girl without the ugly paint buckets and she was playing with bubbles on her own, it might just have more of a lively feel. Where this one, it's a very cool picture. It's a very great capture. I just don't know that this has, like, with the guy himself, he just, he's making his living blowing bubbles. It's not going to be like an image that you find in, like, a Gap ad or something,
Yeah. I mean, he may be the Gap ad. That might be his gene, He wears a certain
I just
kind
know
of
what the
jean.
Gap ad would look like. The Gap ad lifestyle image would be the boyfriend and girlfriend playing with, like, a professional bubble maker, in a very beautiful area.
Yeah.
And it would have this lifestyle feel that, like, they're in love and it's got this mood and energy. This just looks like a snapshot of, like, we were there.
Yeah, it is.
He agreed to build the bubble around her. I got the perfect picture. She's in great light. She's smiling. Like, it's a pretty, pretty photo.
Yeah, I guess maybe,
I give it a 2 by saying it just doesn't belong in your portfolio, but not necessarily a 2 because it's like executed poorly. I just don't know that.
I mean, maybe very well the photographer was in the city, saw this girl come up, wanted to get a picture of it to use in their portfolio. But maybe there are some more exciting things like when the bubble first burst or something along those lines.
I don't even know if it's like a moment for me. It's just the location, the water.
So you're
on
not
the
going
ground.
3? You're still going 2?
I still go 2.
Okay.
Again, I'm not saying like this is executed poorly. It's just I don't think this belongs in your portfolio if you're a lifestyle photographer. But as I said before, if you have a whole published book with images like this, it's going to be a very fine art street photography book that is going to be amazing, no doubt. I just have a hard time taking this one picture and saying this belongs on the front of your website.
Okay.
All right, we've gone to like the Wild West here.
Okay, so I think we're ready.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. You go 4, I go 3.
Perfectly executed, in my opinion. Light coming down. I don't think that this horse needs to be backlit in the same direction with the sun. 30 seconds more. It conveys exactly what it's supposed to, I think, which is border. Hiking on the border, maybe some sort of border patrol or something like that. But yeah, a ranch or something.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful image that makes you feel good.
It's one of those shots where, kind of less is more.
Yeah.
The photographer in you might start thinking, oh, let me stop there, let me get something else going, and let me light it or do something. And I feel like the fact that it's just backlit and everything falls into shadows and you've got the warm tones in the shadows, I think it's really, really beautiful. The one thing that kind of drives me crazy is that, again, going back to like the street photography versus like you've gone out to make this image. This feels kind of like I was just on the ride and I got this picture while I did it. It's kind of snapshotty in that sense. If this was actually planned out, oh yeah, maybe you take the manure, clone that out. I would like to see the people without the helmets. Something about the helmets just kind of pulls this out, makes me feel like it's a little less like wilderness adventure, you know, I want to be that guy, and more like, oh, we signed up for, you know, a donkey or horse tour, and
we had to wear helmets and elbow pads.
The helmets pulls me out of it. And again, it's like if you have control of this entire situation and this was your photo shoot idea, you get the helmets off there and you tweak it even more. If this is you on a horse yourself and you're like there, or you see a tour going past you, you got a great snapshot that is cool. It definitely is a neat environment, you know.
I mean, this is, you put a cowboy on there and, you know,
see,
it's
now
amazing.
You're starting to push it to like what I think is a solid 3 or 4.
I mean, but you know, it's not a cowboy. It's a guy at a ranch. Yeah. You know, the horse's head's kind of down. Is that?
I mean, that doesn't.
You know,
the lighting I love, like the way that they're completely cut out. I think is beautiful.
Yeah.
They're working in 3s. I've heard we've done other critiques with photographers, and they mentioned like sometimes 2s are good for couples, and like 3s and odd numbers work really well. I think it's really nice. I mean, I would like to see a theme put in, and that's what makes me believe that this wasn't a photo shoot as much as this was kind of a snapshot street photography sort of thing that turned out really, really good.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was for brand, it was for lifestyle, you know, you'd almost want the ropes and the boots and the jeans. You'd want everything styled a little more. It still can fall in shadows. I'm not saying we light all of those things, but you just give it a little more attention to details, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
But that's what lifestyle now too. The other thing is, everybody has cameras, are ubiquitous. You know, so you're at that moment, when the sun's going down, get the shot. You know.
But I would make the argument that because there's more cameras, there's more people that are in that moment, and we see more stuff like this. It's going to take the styling and the planning of the shoot to like make it rise above the top. You know, we're seeing amazing images more and more every day. So to make yourself distinguished.
Yeah, you're right. You know, maybe that is a 3.
Look at that guy. I can't tell if he's having the time of his life or if he's like, get me out of here. I am torn between numbers here.
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna be a little harsh and people are gonna hate on me, but I gotta do it.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Maybe okay.
Yeah, I figured you were going there.
You
so,
kind of balanced out what I was thinking. I hate giving this a snapshot because I love what they've done here. I just feel like the dog probably has a relationship to either the photographer or the girl, and therefore that's the dog that's in the picture. I would love to see the dog lit a little more, or a little happier, or a different dog. People could argue with me all day about that, but I just feel like the dog, he made me laugh. He gave me an emotion, which is good. I just feel like he looks a little miserable in there. And then the girl is so out of focus in the background. I love her expression, but
it's a great concept.
So close.
Yeah.
Like I want to say, yes, this needs to be in your portfolio. I think this is definitely a place as photographers should go back and do a lot of photo shoots. Because this is just
to try to get that moment right.
This is just such a cool thing, you know? Cool angle, cool depth of field. I'd love to even go later in the day when there's like more warm highlights and shadows. I love it. I just feel like the dog gets a little lost. And he gets lost because, what was he, like a bulldog? He's got so much detail in him that without it being, if it was like a little white terrier or a hound dog, something very clean, you would read it so much quicker. This one, it kind of takes you a second. And then once you do read it, it's almost like
sometimes you come down a little bit more, then you're going to lose that sky. But experimenting with until you get it right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know what you're saying. Where I thought you were going to. So it's really cool, but it's not perfect.
This is one of those images I would love to see the community rate. If you go to the website below in the description, you can see all these pictures. If you have an Fstoppers account, you can click on them. You can give them a rating too. I would really like to see what the community says about this because I feel kind of unfair giving this a 2.
And also, I'd like to see 2 other images from that to see like what were the next frames. Were they better? Was the dog in a cooler position or something, you know. But anyway, it's again one of those things where, you know, choosing the right image is key, you know.
Yeah, and then
Maybe
again, it goes back to like casting. I don't really have a problem with the girl.
No, I don't
I
either.
have more of a problem with just the way the dog looks.
He's kind of
but I
standing
just-
on two legs.
I
Like he
keep
does now.
imagining this picture with like a little puppy and like the girl running after him, or I don't know. Like there's a million ways you could go with it,
Well,
but
see, I'm thinking he's in this run, but no, okay, I see. He is just standing there.
but if
see
he
what
was
you're saying.
running, like again, like this might work really well the next frame, but
Yeah.
he's got the collar on him. He's just standing there. He's probably moving. I mean, that dog's not sitting there. If you know dog behavior,
Yeah.
he's probably not sitting there. It's like the dog's taken off in front of the owner, and it's very cool because of that. But I just feel like I just want to step up everything a little bit more, and maybe it's just the dog's looking down the next frame, and he's not
Mm-hmm.
panting as much.
Yeah, but now if you look at it again, you know, the dog happens to be in perfect focus. This is shallow depth of field, so you're probably at a 2.8. You can get that. If your dog is running, you have to get that shot. as
Yeah, I
he's
look at
running.
this image and I say like it was
posed.
executed from the photographer standpoint perfectly. What I am critiquing now is beyond the photography,
Yeah.
and it's more the subject matter, the styling. I know a lot of people that post on a community, they're not styling their shoots. They're not planning this stuff out. It's just a picture that they took and they're happy with it and they want to get an opinion. I totally get that. And because of that, it's a great photograph, just like the previous one was a great photograph. But when you start saying, I am a commercial photographer, or I shoot editorial, or I shoot lifestyle, and this is what I want to represent who I am as an artist, this to me falls a little short, but it was executed perfectly, if that makes sense. I know that's a very defined distinction, but so it's like it's kind of like an environmental portrait, maybe. Still, I'd still say it's fair to put this in lifestyle. It's the lifestyle of somebody working all day.
Yeah.
I would rather be the guy surfing on the board all day than this guy, but it's still pretty cool.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1,
3.
3.
Yep.
I almost could go 2 here, and I think it has to do with the post-processing. There's something about this image that looks like super shadow highlight to me that kind of drives me crazy, and it makes the image look cheaper than if you just kind of tightened it up and like let some of this stuff fall into shadows.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like HDR. It's just not an image, you know. For me, it might just be me. It's not one that one of the. It just doesn't have. I don't have a relationship with it at all, really.
Yeah.
I don't. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other. It's well executed. You know, as far as a picture of that guy in his shop making a board goes. I mean, this seems to me like what everyone would do. Him with a sander.
Yeah.
You know.
If
From
we-
that angle, you know, same thing.
If we critique this from kind of an environmental portrait, I'd almost want to see him like done with the polishing, and he's got the mask off, and you can see his face. And the portrait would probably be very straight on, and it would be like, I don't want to say somber, but it would be him in his shop.
With dirt. And,
Right, where the lifestyle, you probably don't want him looking at the camera, and you don't want him a somber face. Like, you want him interacting with the guy buying the board, or you want...
Or like down where you're getting where he's sanding, you want to see sand coming off or something lit in a way.
Yeah.
It just seems to me like there's so many ways to approach this that this is what someone new would do. They got the shot for the magazine or whatever,
In
and
terms
now
of-
you can play with different angles. And,
In terms of lifestyle photography, I think the other thing this image kind of suffers with putting in this category is that it's just so specific. Like, we're not talking about surfing, which immediately like excludes 90% of the population who've never surfed or don't surf. I'm not a surfer, but I live at the beach, so I can kind of appreciate it. And then you have the guy who's making the surfboard. So like you've taken out some very universal themes that have been throughout this whole critique, you know, hiking, playing with your dog, being with your family, like these very big ideas that everybody can relate to something that's very specific. It just kind of, it makes it a little harder for the general population to stop and be like, I know that feeling I had when I surfed,
sanding a board, yeah.
Whereas, you know, I think if it was like the last picture with the girls with the glasses and they had the board and they're running on the water, that might resonate more with people as like lifestyle than seeing the back of a shop. This is kind of what you don't see. This is like the behind the scenes of like life.
What do you think about if you cut that whole side off? That side adds nothing to it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I could probably see that.
It's a better image, I think, with the, you know, from the door frame. Anyway.
I mean, I almost think this whole thing could go a little tighter. I mean, like, you know he's sanding a surfboard. You could probably, like, let's say this is shot at 24 millimeters. You might be able to shoot this at, like, 35, 50.
Yeah.
And just really tighten it up.
Like this, the drywall bucket here adds nothing to it, you know. It's...
You got a good eye there. You do a lot of drywall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think for me, wide angle with a lot of HDR shadow highlight, like that's one of those things that like I see that, and it drives me crazy. And this has a little bit of both of those going in on it, so kind of turns me off a little bit. So that's it, guys. 21 images. If you want your own images critiqued on Critique the Community, we will have a post up very soon. I believe the next critique we're going to do is another swimwear critique. Last time we did it with Dixie Dixon. This next time we're going to have a special guest who's a really acclaimed swimwear photographer. So keep up with the website. We'll do a post, and it'll say submit your best swimwear photos. All you need to do to participate is have an account on Fstoppers and upload pictures to your portfolio. Then as we announce the Critique the Communities, you can just submit your images, and we will choose 20, and 2 of us will go through and critique them. So,
well, again, you know, the images were great. And now that you're saying things, it makes me think that maybe one of the critiques you could do would be like a story, like submit a full story at some point.
Yeah, there's so many ideas.
Because especially with lifestyle, I feel like, you know, you were taking that piece of that story out. It's like, you know, the chorus of a song and then critiquing a song. So images were great, and you know, I hope that some of that helped.
No, I'm sure, and it was great having your perspective. You could check out more of Reese's work. What's your website?
ReeseAllen.com.
ReeseAllen.com. Are you on the Twitters or anything like that?
I'm not actually. No, I'm not like a big Twitter.
All right, so ReeseAllen.com, and I believe now we get to give one of these lucky 21 people, 2 of these lucky 21 people, a bag. All right, so we're at the end here. We have 2 bags to give away, so 2 of 21 people will win these new hex bags.
They're cool.
Yeah, this one's a little bit smaller.
That's nice.
These blend into your environment, so if you're out shooting...
This is for DSLR. Anyway, they're cool bags.
All right, so keeping up with the camo theme, we have Lee's famous Ford camo hat here. You want to go ahead and pick a number out of there?
Okay, I'm not supposed to look.
We're not even going to know who wins, so you have to go on the website and figure out who this number was.
Okay, so I got to show you.
Number 18.
It was 18.
Actually kind of close.
Number 18 is... my bubble guy, yes!
Number 18.
Bubble guy.
Bubble shot 1, all right.
Yeah.
And for the smaller bag here by Hex, number 2.
Let's see if I can remember what number 2 was. It was camping, maybe?
You know who number 2 was?
Number 2. It was number 2, the wide angle.
You know what's ironic?
Awesome.
The 2 winners, I gave both of them a 2 rating.
Really? Well, I'm glad, yeah.
Yeah,
so.
they got critiqued hard by me.
And he needs a bag because he's out in the wilderness. I'm sure he probably destroys a lot of bags.
They got critiqued hard by me and they won bags.
Well, that was awesome. Thanks.
Congratulations, guys.
All right, Merry
and
Christmas,
if you will,
everybody.
Email Fstoppers if you're one of these 2 winners, and we will get your address and we will mail these out. You should have them by the new year. So, Reese, thanks again, and we will see you guys very, very soon. If you enjoyed this photography-related video, check out some of our other photography tutorials and behind-the-scenes videos here. And please, feel free to subscribe to the official Fstoppers YouTube channel below.